Hello everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Should I Craft It? My name is Tommy Wave, and today we're going to be jumping into a deck from Elementalcore100, and we're going to be trying to answer the question, should I craft it? And today is actually a really good day to be doing Should I Craft It, because this is the first deck that we've actually had to craft certain pieces for. I actually needed to craft a Geppetto Joybuzz for this deck and a single Giggling Inventor. So this will be the first edition where we get to actually feel the buyer's remorse. I think that's the main thing. That's the main reason I wanted to come up with this series, because I've definitely had experiences in the past where I've crafted what I thought was a sweet, sweet legendary, and then 10 games later, it turns out that I have the buyer's remorse and the legendary wasn't performing as well as it should have. It wasn't doing the cool stuff that I was promised. So today we're going to hopefully not feel that. We have a deck from Elementalcore100. Big shout outs to them. Person, we've covered a lot of their decks before in the past. They're always trying cool and interesting things, and this deck is no exception. It's, I guess, what I'd call a mid-range Shaman. Elementalcore or yourself, you might have a different name for this deck. But I think it functions definitely within that mid-range environment. We've got a lot of early game, to make sure that we don't die to aggro. We've got some late game to make sure that we can go over the top of the other mid-range or aggressive decks. And lots of kind of interesting disparate elements that usually represent what a mid-range deck should be. So we'll go over a couple of the interesting things in the deck. The first thing that I want to point out is this Underbelly Angler, which Murloc Shaman's been looks like a pretty big deck in the meta right now. Once again, we're only just coming back to the meta, so we don't have a full grasp on it. But it seems like Murloc Shaman's pretty popular, and Underbelly Angler is one of the most powerful cards in that deck. Now, we only actually have one other Murloc in here with the Sludge Slurper to trigger that Underbelly Angler. So it's going to be really interesting to see if this card is actually worth putting in the deck, if we're going to get many triggers off of it. But also, this card might actually bait out a fair bit of removal from our opponent, or it might cause our opponents to kind of overreact, expecting that, you know, the turn after we could be dropping a bunch of Murlocs, getting a bunch of value, and kind of putting them in the ground. So I really like that. We've also got some little tempo elements here, mostly in this Mutate. I think this is probably the part of the deck that I'm most unsure of, but we've got Mutate in here with a couple of good targets, notably Former Champ, I think is an excellent target. We're going to get a 5/5 hot shot, we can Mutate, get a 6-drop, hopefully the 6-drop's quite good. Ziliax is another fine target for Mutate. Giggling Inventor is an excellent target for Mutate. We can get an 8-drop, which is hopefully going to be pretty powerful, as well as getting those two Annoyatrons to gum up the board. And all of these cards also have Battle Cries, which is going to be excellent for our Shutterwock, and also excellent with Geppetto Joybuzz, hopefully. What else do we want to talk about? When I said disparate elements in the intro, and this might be a good lesson for maybe some of the newer players out there, or people who maybe haven't gotten really deep on deck building, but it's always worth considering when you're playing cards like Witch's Brew and Bloodlust in the same deck, because they're two very, very different cards. Witch's Brew is very much a control card. We're going to try and survive the early game, clear our opponent's board, Witch's Brew, get a bunch of health back, and be able to close the game from there. Very good against aggressive decks. And Bloodlust is the opposite. We want to be on board, we want to have a lot of things, we want to Bloodlust, use it to kill our opponent really quickly. So I think that when we talk about a lot of these mid-range decks, we're going to have to make concessions like this just to make each of our matchups better. You know, we want to have Bloodlust so that we can close out those control games a bit earlier. We want to have Witch's Brew in case we do come up against those more aggressive decks, and we do need to, in a pinch, gain, you know, 8, 12, 16 life. So I think that that's going to be a really interesting thing to check out. The only other thing I want to say is that I've been playing a little bit of Shaman lately, and Thunderhead, with the new buff, being a 3/6, this card is phenomenal. I really, really like Thunderhead, and I think that we're going to probably be winning a lot of games off of the back of it. But that's about it for now. I think we'll jump into the game, see how we go, and we're going to find out, should I craft it? Let's go.
None can escape my fury.
Okay, up against a Rouge here. Now, is Rogue a deck we should be keeping Earthshock against? It's a good question. Actually, don't have much mulligan info on the deck at the moment. Let's see if Elemental Core kept anything in there. Yeah, they do recommend Earthshock against aggro decks, so we'll go with that. Of course, with all of the decks that we do on the show, all the decks that we cover, of course, the link to the Hearthstone deck article, or wherever the deck came from, is going to be in the description. So feel free to check that out. Always lots of nice tidbits, and I know Elemental Core always does at least a little bit of a write-up with all of these decks. Very slow going in this early game. I think if this is maybe a Heist Baron kind of rogue deck, we might be giving them exactly enough time to develop their resources and maybe come in over the top. We do have a really nice turn 4, turn 5 kind of thing. Thunderhead Zap, Thunderhead Lightning Bolt, something like that. Unfortunately, that will stop us from playing the former champ on curve. So we might want to avoid that if at all possible.
Quickly.
Hope you like my invention.
Mutate. Mutate's an interesting one. I think we'll just keep toteming up. We're taking a while here. Is this a bot? We're up against a bot. Poor one. We could go Thunderhead Zap. I think we might have to. Well, we don't really have to. I think I want to. See what kind of response they have for this Thunderhead, because if they don't have anything good, I mean, we do have Lightning Bolt. We do have stuff to do next turn, it's just not ideal.
Guide you.
Interesting.
Ha, this guy's toast.
Huh. Triggers first. Ugh, yuck. That's really bad. Ugh, it's really bad.
Thunderstruck!
Oof. Gotta dig ourselves out of this one, I think. Well, lesson learned. Lesson learned. Read the card. Just gonna silence this. That's okay. We might actually mutate that instead of the... no, we'll probably mutate the former champ. Ooh. I think I'm going to go for the Ziliax here.
Unity, precision,
Just lets us get a little bit more value off this healing totem. Keeps this body in play. We might go for the Giggling Inventor mutate next turn. Unfortunately, we're not going to get full value off the Giggling Inventor, so we might just go for the former champ.
like a butterfly.
Sting like a bee.
Say the magic word.
That's a pretty good one.
Primitive. Thunderstruck.
Pretty good one. Alright. So we're in a good position. But our opponent has their shark up. So, see what they want to do with it. Can't think of too many real good ones. Life Drink is going to keep them in it, but I think the game we're playing is definitely an on-board game.
Oh, up to no good.
Especially with those, especially with four lads in his hand, 4 lackeys. No Shadow Step though. Very good.
Thunderstruck. Thunderstruck. Wrong password. Wrong password. Thunderstruck. Primitive.
Keep up.
I think there, what we should have done is we should have traded our Spark. Should have traded the Spark off for something so that we could play the Geppetto Joy Buzz this turn. Just to get a bigger body on board. Make sure we're using our mana. Oh, gets to trade with the Ziliax. There you go, folks. Lork Cho beating up on the Ziliax. I'm sure a lot of people wanted to see that. Ooh. Jeez. Would really like to rip the Bloodlust off the top. Really like that.
Quickly.
I'll make you a real toy.
Interesting.
Thunderstruck.
Do we play this? We only get one little lad. Maybe not. Maybe we'll save it to bounce back when our opponent hits us hard this turn.
Double time and double pay. I the king.
2 treasures. Okay. Ugh. Probably going to start chipping away at our opponents. Looking great. But at least both the sharks are doing.
Quickly. Double time and double pay.
Mr. James Rocket Beans Bond, welcome to the chat. No, this isn't a copy of that streamer's deck. We got this one from Hearthstone. It's from Elementalcore100. They could have used the deck in the past, though. But yes, that's where we got it from. It's a lot of Murlocs. Okay, we got some resources. We traded off with the Heist Baron. Our opponent hasn't used any Shadow Steps yet. And it is possible that we use the kind of lose the grindy game to our opponent recurring Governator. So many Murlocs, yes. Yeah, so, I mean, this is definitely whether we win or lose this game. Because I'm still not sure if we're playing the matchup correctly. Whether we win or lose, I think it's definitely showing that the little Murloc package is actually quite good. Sapping our Geppetto to kill it. So we have 10? Oh no. Make a smell. Weird because it isn't really a Murloc Shaman deck. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I said in the intro that one of the... Ooh, this could be bad. One of the things that we were concerned about was this really just light commitment to Murlocs and if it's any good. Or just burn the Bloodlust off the top of our deck. Oh, if they had Shadow Stepped the Zihi and played it, I might have got it. One of our war leaders does this, right? So 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and we have a war leader, which is going to give us +8 as well. GG. Yeah, interesting game. Interesting game. Still not sure what a lot of these rogues are doing. This seems definitely like we were saying, more of the Heist Baron kind of grindier version. I think if we were to play that game again, and maybe something we'll keep an eye out for in the future, is be a bit more aggressive, try and get a bit more face damage in. It's really hard to kind of pick and choose exactly which elements to trade with and which to, keep on board. But either way, GG's, well played to our opponent. Wow, what a great win or loss that was. Hi, Tommy Wave here, just letting you know quickly about a way that you can support the channel at no cost to yourself, and that's by using my Blizzard affiliate link, which you can find buried in the description. If you go there, you can shop for all packs, solo content, pretty much everything that you can buy on the Hearthstone shop, and if you buy it using that affiliate link, I get a kickback. It's at no additional cost to you, but it does help support the channel. It means that I can keep making content, it means I can keep streaming, and like I said, it's nice, quick, and easy. Just follow the link in the description. And now, back to the game. Pick up a Thunderhead or something like that. Useful. These 2 hexes. I don't feel confident about them. Now's a good enough turn to go for the Voltaic first. Clear off some of these beasts. Doesn't stop us playing the Ziliax on 5 either. But it does mean we don't have anything to do next turn.
To my side.
I mean, maybe that's just the best hex target. Pretty good for Ziliax if they bump the Leok into it. Just not going to happen. Trading. No. We do have this Witch's Brew. Huh.
What to do?
actually be really good if we can pump up this Ziliax a bit. Alright. We also have the interesting interesting battle of, is our opponent's kind of Master's Call-y, not combinations, but is our opponent's Master's Call turn going to be... Master's Call synergies, we'll call it. Is their Master's Call synergies going to be more powerful than our late game? We just Ziliax it? Probably, right?
What to do?
Probably.
Unity, precision, job's done.
Wonder if they'll trade for the Spirit of the Bat. It'd be very funny. The bit very funny about this, the fact that this Spirit of the Bat has actually done a little bit of work, like a 5-4 Giggling Mentor.
That didn't quite hit the mark.
Alright. Spirit of the Bat doing a lot of work there. Oof, imagine if we got to start playing these Giggling Inventors with that Spirit of the Bat on board. Big lad! Big 8'5" lad. Popped out of that small lass. Oof. I guess it's Mark shot one. Maybe that was... I mean, if 9 lives was the best thing you could take, it's fair enough. It's unfortunate. Take this Soul of the Murloc to set up a Stormbringer.
Shall we make a storm? Your time, people.
So this way, even if our opponent does have quite a lot to trade in, something like Unleash the Hounds. Then we can respond back with a Stormbringer, turn all our Murlocs into something hopefully a bit more valuable.
Thunderstruck! Feast my blade.
And just so we don't die to Unleash, I'm just going to Hex this. Yeah, just going to Hex this. Might stop our opponent from killing us, who knows. Not if they're kill commanding that. I think if they were kill commanding us, we might suspect that we are boned.
Well fought.
Got him. Still have the Hagatha waiting in the wings as well. Hagatha with Glinda as well. Could have been a tasty one. GG's. Well played to our opponent. Alright, welcome back to the control center, here with Should I Craft It with Elemental Core's, what I called Midrange Shaman. I'm sure you've got your own name for it. We've played a whole bunch of games there, some that you saw, some that you didn't see, and overall, I like the deck. I think it's got some really cute elements in there. I think that there's definitely a lot more nuance to it. We certainly didn't do the deck justice. I can already see the comments now saying how terribly we played it, but that's okay. You don't have to play everything perfectly, and I think not playing things perfectly actually is probably a better thing for those out there who are really trying to get the best value for their dust, knowing that they aren't going to be playing the game 12 hours a day or anything like that. So speaking of, should you craft this deck? Well, I think overall, if you're someone who dust isn't super critical for you, maybe you're the type of person who you've got a bit more time is more of your concern rather than money. You're the type of person who pre-orders a lot, buys packs, that kind of stuff. If you got a lot of dust, I think yes. I think definitely consider crafting maybe 1 or 2 legendaries for this deck if you've got some of them but you're missing 1 or 2. Just because I think a lot of the legendaries here are either super competitive like Ziliax or Hagatha, or they're really fun like Geppetto. Actually pretty fun card. I enjoyed that. Shutterwalk, you're going to get a lot of use out of that, especially if you like playing some fun decks in Wild. Swan Queen Hagatha does seem quite strong and could get better in the future. So I think if you're the type of person who dust isn't super critical, yeah, I'd craft this. If dust is super critical for you and you're missing more than one of the legendaries here, I think it's going to be a no from me. I think you've got to, you can look at decks like Aggro Overload Shaman or Murloc Shaman. Many of those decks feature, 1, 2 legendaries, sometimes 0. In fact, a lot of my favorite Overload Shaman decks are 0 legendaries, really focusing on, powerful epics and rares like Thunderhead, Doomhammer, Lava Burst, that kind of stuff. I think you get a lot more bang for your buck and probably a lot more wins under your belt with a deck like that. Still, I really enjoyed this deck. There was a lot of interesting discovery moments, that Underbelly Angler Sludge Slurpers, that's all the Murlocs you need. That's plenty. I think Geppetto actually does deserve a spot in the deck. I think it was quite good. It was kind of fun doing the Giggling Inventor former champ shenanigans with Mutate. But that being said, I think there's more consistent things that you could be doing. Regardless, let me know down below if you've crafted this deck, if you want to craft this deck, if you think I'm right. Do you think that it's a definite craft? Do you think it's a definite don't craft? Let me know in the comments below. Regardless, this has been a Should I Craft It? All the links are in the description, including a link over to the Hearthstone deck article. Please jump over there. Give Elementalcore100 a +1. Go give them a follow on Twitter as well, at Elementalcore1. But until next time, please stay safe, stay wavy, eat the rich, and hex that Beryllium Nullifier. Bye-bye. Wow. What a great video. For more of my suspect play choices, be sure to check out one of the videos next to my head, and make sure that you subscribe to get more Hearthstone content in your subscription feed.